what's going on, guys? My name is Corey, aka Blockchain, and I am a full-time professional trader. And I wanted to just make sure I did a quick video for a very exciting announcement. I am actually going to be giving away one of my master classes at the end of this month. It's a $500 value, completely free to you. All you have to do is make sure you comment, subscribe, smash the likes on this video, and you will be entered to win. I will be doing the drawing at the end of the month for one lucky winner, and all you have to do is support my YouTube channel here. So make sure you smash the likes, hit that subscribe button, comment below, and you will have an automatic entry to the free masterclass. And yes, you can do it on multiple videos. So each time you do it on one of my videos, it will give you an entry. So the more, the better. So again, guys, smash the likes, hit that subscribe, ring that little bell, comment below, and good luck. And let's go ahead and dive into the charts. What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you're at in the world. This is Blockchain coming at you with another Bitcoin technical analysis update. For those of you new to my channel, we are starting off on blockchaintratading.com. We can get a quick update on all the crypto prices, but the big thing I want to highlight for those who've not gotten it yet is actually my #1 trading strategy that I am giving away completely for free. Just click on this little get in touch right here, and I will give you a free video demonstration of my #1 trading strategy that is consistent, profitable, reliable, and applicable to any market. So make sure you guys check that out. Also got some pretty cool blockchain gear here, and then of course the Discord for the New Wave Traders Discord, $97 a month or $597 a year to be a part of, for signals and education. Trade alongside thousands of full-time professional traders and get access to their information, their education, their insights on the market. Pretty sweet bonus too is also a 14-day trial for just $25. That way you can come in, test it out, and see what you like, and go from there. And then of course for the intro, my masterclass is live, so I am actually giving one away this month. So make sure you guys smash the likes, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. And the contents are all going to be listed down here. So we'll actually have a couple things we'll cover, such as a secret RSI oscillator, a big one on trend lines, and some hidden signals of the composite index, the derivative oscillator, and the basically some GAN, Elliott wave principles and analysis, and all kinds of good stuff. So it's all going to be right in here. And then of course my favorite Elliott wave. If you are looking at mastering Elliott wave, nowhere else better to go outside of the hippo himself. Just a genius when it comes to Elliott wave. So yeah, that sums up the site. Also a bunch of other cool stuff you can check out on in regards to products and plans and whatnot, but I'm not going to go into full detail. So let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. And I'm going to start off on a weekly view. So just overall on a weekly, just something that some things to be aware of, some things that I'm looking at roughly on a weekly. Pretty big one was actually last week, where we did close above our R2 at 14,660 right here, which is a pretty strong bullish close. However, I am still looking at this as potentially being corrective for overall in this move here up. It's on the smaller time frame, it's hard to make this impulsive right here, in my opinion. So that's where I'm kind of stuck with. But there's a chance that it could potentially be impulsive. But I'm also looking at this overall as just an AB, and then we'll pop up again for a larger C. And right here we know just having our ABC right here. So I guess with where we are currently, there's always a bull and a bear scenario, right? And if we are just looking at this, there's actually a pretty big range in which we can go. So we could have, with this, potentially being a B wave, having this as an internal ABC of the overall B wave right here. So boom, boom, and then coming up right here for the C. So you can see we did close above the 1-to-1 extension, and on the daily we did have a daily resistance right here at 16,000 that we did hit. but overall on the weekly, it doesn't make sense with where we are currently. So it's leading me to think that we have the possibility to get some higher highs, and start looking at areas such as 17.2 at the 1.236, or let's see, 1.382 at 18.6 are a couple ones that I would be paying attention to. We also can technically extend all the way up to 21.3, with this still being a C wave. I don't think we'll quite get that high if this is a C wave. Normally we'll have to have an expanded B, in order to get that high, which we didn't have. So, right now this is the kind of the range that I'm looking at. That 17.2 to the 18.7 is roughly where I am kind of eyeballing for us to potentially go. So it can still be, overall a B wave with the C wave within it. So we're going to throw a little tag on that, just so we can have that potential. I'll just change the color again. So, if we do, I would say it needs to, with how bullish we are, it would need to be somewhere in the fairly near future for us to get up there. Normally we don't have a huge, long, drawn out C wave. So right here I have this, January, February. It's got to be before that, in my opinion. It's got to be between now and the end of the year, just for a time perspective, for roller neutrality and whatnot. So, but anyway, this can still be a B wave in regards to going up there, and then we'd have another C down, and then overall with the largest structure here in yellow as an ABC, where we could potentially come down, depending roughly where we go up to, still come back down, retest some areas of support such as 6,000, and launch off again from there. But overall, it's what I'm looking for on a larger time frame, but pretty strong close by the bulls right up there. On some of these other indicators and oscillators, I am looking at, on the weekly, we did pop up outside of the volume band on the RSI. On the CB index, we do not have any kind of bearish divergence or anything like that happening on the weekly, and we have not yet on the weekly. We have yet to cross over on some key indicators for downside yet. So things are overall still looking fairly bullish, but being how strong that the bulls have been, just taking a quick breather here. But I would see us going up to really that 18.6 to that 17.3. So let's look at the daily real quick. See what the daily is saying. All right. So overall, in order for this, see, this is what I was talking about before, where I'm just not a big fan of this being an impulsive wave. Is it, I mean, can you make it? Yes. Is it the cleanest? No. But if if it was, then really this would have to overall be, in my opinion, from what I can count, your wave one, this is your two, and this is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here of your third wave, and then we'll come back down for a fourth, and then up again, for a fifth, and get us up to that 18.6 potentially. So that's where I'm kind of looking at roughly for the weekly. If we do pull a fib on the week, let's see, where would that put us? Or sorry, on the day. I don't know why I said the week. So that that could get us back up towards that 19.5 roughly. Can get us up to that third wave, honestly. Somewhere within that ballpark. Because normally your third wave is going to go up to the 1.618. It is off a little bit. It's not the most confluent in regards to where the resistance point was. But that's really, for third wave, it's normally going to be that 1.618 unless it gets overextended. But it, it normally doesn't fall at the 1.382. So, and then you can kind of see within here, this looks more third wave than it does five waves. Versus, here you can see pretty clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here, that's a pretty clear five wave move, right? Um, Unlike how it is here, in my opinion. So it looks to be coming off more corrective, in my opinion. I've been saying that really since this whole thing is kicked off, where it just overall looks corrective. So impulsive, that's roughly what we'd be looking at. In regards to, I shouldn't put these back on. In regards to it being corrective, it could still be corrective. And let's see. Yeah, we still didn't really hit much in regards to it being corrective. I'd honestly look for it to be, it could still be a corrective move and still tag the 1.236 or the 1.382 within here. And basically overall be, in my opinion, would be a WXY, where this potentially could be a double zigzag right here. So let me actually slide these over, and I'm going to take this one off for now. And if we had this as a double zigzag, it's at the 1.618. We tagged it pretty nicely, actually. We did have a little wick through it, 1.618. But that's okay. If we do get above this, in my opinion, this will invalidate the double zigzag, and we would be looking at something entirely different. So that's kind of the beauty about Elliott wave, where we can kind of look to say, what's corrective, what's impulsive, because if this was overall your A, and then you came down for your B, and then your C with a double zigzag like so. Let me get a better color for you. And the kind of same thing with this looking as a three-wave move with an ABC, and then overall, so right here, this would be your A, your B, and your C, and make this whole thing AW. This would be your X, and then this would be your Y. And based upon this ABC right here, this is pretty tapped out. We're not really going to go above that if this is truly an ABC. Now, on the other hand, what we could be looking at to get us up towards this 18.6, of course, there's always the bull and the bear count, right? So if this is not an ABC, then we have the option of this being a impulsive wave right here, where this would be your 1, your 2, your 3, and then right now we would be in the 4th, and then going up for the 5th. And the 5th, we can be anywhere between right here, that the 2.236, which is just at 18K. We can also tag the 2.382, which is right at that other point at 18.6 that we're looking at on the weekly. And of course, we can always get overextended, from there. So that is something to pay attention to. I'll change the color of this as well. We'll make that green. So that's roughly what I would be looking at in regards to if this is impulsive, then it's a different count than obviously what I have. It wouldn't be a WXY if this thing goes above the 1.618. We'd be looking at something different. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, let's look at some of the indicators on the daily here. So we had this little pump up, wiped out bearish divergence. However, we do have bearish divergence on the CV index. So we'll kind of see what this consolidation looks like. We'll zoom in on a couple of the smaller time frames and go from there. We do have a pretty strong sell signal on the market liberator. However, we've been kind of bouncing right back up from it at the same time. So, it'll be interesting to see if these guys cross again, and we get another buy, considering that we've been just sitting here consolidating. So let's look at some of the smaller time frames, because that will give us a little bit more indication if we are in a fourth wave potentially, or if this thing is done. We are bouncing right here. You can see right on the top of the bullish control zone. As well as the slower EMA as well. So seeing that the RSI is starting to curl back up on the daily, that is really just kind of showing sentiment in the market of how strong the bulls are right here. So pretty important. As we do go up on the daily time frame, something to pay attention to is on the fast EMA right here, is if we do hit our head on that again and get rejected. So that's something that I will be looking for, because this is a pretty strong sign of a reversal right here, where we do come outside of the volume band right here. We came outside the volume band, and then we try to break out of it again and we get rejected right there. But we also found support right here on the slow EMA, but I might kind of get a little wedged until we make a decision, which is, can be fairly typical of a fourth wave, honestly, where we get wedged in between these the fast and slow EMA, until we make a decision, and we get one more pop up, be able to break out of it, which would end up ultimately being the fifth wave, and then create the divergence between the third wave and the fifth wave. So basically we would see the RSI come back up like this. The volume band would kind of go like so, have a little bit of a stronger gap, and basically we would have that divergence set where we would have a lower high on the RSI and we would have a higher high on price. So it would have the price come up. So that's what I'll be looking for on the RSI specifically, as we go through these next couple of days, and ultimately kind of go from there. But really tag that 1.618, which is pretty common of a zigzag, and it's just a matter if we break that, or if we get rejected and start going down. So that is what I will be looking for. Let's see here. All right, so let's take a look at some smaller time frames really quick. See if that can give us any more indication of what kind of structure we are in. It does look to be. Let's see. That would really have to be your wave 1, 2, and then this would be. I'll just draw it out real quick. So this will ultimately be your 1, 2. This will be your third, your fourth, and your fifth. And then right back here actually would have to be. I'd count that as your ultimately your wave 1. This is your 2. So like so, 1, 2. This whole thing going up would be your third, fourth, and then up again for the fifth. Sorry, I'll clear off some of this stuff. I know it could be a little difficult to see. But for those of you that watched the video on my #1 trading strategy, it has just been killing it in this correction. Basically, with these resistance points and the pivot points. So make sure you guys check that out if you have not already. You can kind of see that, typically in a fourth wave, we do have these RSI indicators that completely reset, which we did come back down and reset and hit the bottom of the volume band. We're also sitting at the 60 as well on the RSI, which is also a bullish support. And we'll kind of see what we get from there. But we could kind of just be going out into like a pennant, kind of in like a flag, which is pretty typical for a fourth wave. and yeah, ultimately see what we kind of kick off. But ultimately, I'd expect us to kind of bounce around and consolidate a little bit more. I don't see us, lifting off tomorrow. However, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the market, and it's very possible that it could actually happen. So, I was going to let me actually make this a little bit bigger. One note that I did have as well from before is just overall on the fib channels. Let me take this guy off. And let me tag that real quick before I get rid of it. Get rid of that, get rid of that. And get rid of that for now. So what's also an important thing to talk about, in my opinion, is this guy is the fib channel. Yep. All right. I'll need to tighten that up a little bit. So right there. I'll bring this one down a little bit too. All right, so we did have a resistance point on a channel. So we got this guy which started it right here, right here. And what's interesting to note is that we did break out of it. We came back down and we retested it and found it as support. So being that we did find it as support, that is pretty typical of a fourth wave where we kind of find a support and then consolidate. But a pretty interesting note to where, we came back, we tested it, had a very strong buy up to get us right back upwards of, that 15.7 mark. But dropping all the way back down to 14.3, 14.4, somewhere in that ballpark, with a very strong buy up, pretty bullish. So just a side note on that guy. So let's take a quick look at the 4 hour with where we are at the moment. Again, kind of creating that pennant consolidation. And let's see. Get rid of these because they don't make sense on the smaller time frame anymore. All right. So let's see. Yeah, right at the 50. So right at the middle, finding some support, and being that we have yet to break out of the volume band on the downside, that's super bullish. Until we do, that makes me lean very much more so into the bull's favor, actually. Just because normally when that happens, when we fail to break out of these volume bands, we see a pretty good reaction. You can see that, on these couple attempts up where we failed to break out of the volume band, and RSI completely reset itself, boom, right here, boom, until we did get an opportunity to break out of it. One thing to do note, currently that we are underneath the fast and slow EMAs on the 4 hour, so we do need to break those as resistance to get back above it and back into the bullish control zone up here at the 60 as well. So we can see that we tried to get back into the bullish control zone right here and had a pretty nasty rejection. Until we get back over it, back into it, I'd expect further consolidation and potentially a little bit more downside until then. So just something to note there. And yeah, CB index looks like it's also somewhat resetting. And then lastly, let's just look at the 2 hour and really kind of just dive into a little bit of the smaller time frame here. So a couple key points just for resistance. We already tagged our head on the 15.8, and then we also have this guy here at the 16.5 and 17.6. So a couple of key points of resistance, and we also have pretty decent support underneath at the 14.8, as well as the 13.850, we'll call it, and yeah, this is kind of a mess right here, isn't it? Basically, really just kind of consolidating here in the neutral zone. That 60, man, it's been tough for us to get over on the RSI. We tested it, and then that's what got that rejection to the downside, as we failed to break into the bullish control zone on the RSI, and came back down and got support on the 45, which is on the edge of the bearish control zone. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of reaction we get here. If we do get a little bit, yeah, it's curling down a little bit. What was the 1 hour saying? Because obviously the 1 hour does make up the higher time frames, or the smaller time frames make up the higher time frames here. Yeah, so it is curling back down a little bit. It looks like we did break the fast EMA, but it's still possible for us to find support on with where we are. It's okay to kind of tick through it a little bit and then potentially curl back up to the upside, find it as support. But yeah, kind of right in the neutral zone at the moment. Kind of undecisive, but consolidating nonetheless for roughly with where we are. So, but it looks still pretty three-wave in regards to an ABC right here for a three-wave move. Same thing for an ABC right here. This overall thing potentially an ABC, and then start looking to pay attention with what we are right here. So if we do have that triangle motion, normally it's going to be in that 5-wave structure, creating like an A, B, C, D, E. But not with that. We would have to have further downside in order for that to really make sense. We'd probably have to come back down, test the top of the fib channel again. Because it would take a minute to flag out. I'm going to have to do something like that. So we can still have a three-wave, like a zigzag, boom, 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 right here. Because ultimately with the 4-wave, or with the 4th overall wave, we want to see some of these indicators and oscillators reset pretty hard. So that way it gives it more room to go back to the upside for that 5th wave. It could simply be a 3-wave ABC or WXY, boom, 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 like that, and then look at potentially starting off and going up from there. So, yeah, so that's what we're looking at. It could be a topping formation, but these key indicators and oscillators and wave structures will give us a little bit further insight in regards to what the market is going to do. So that is what I'm going to be looking for, guys. It's again consolidating at the moment, in my opinion. It's going to take a minute to play out. So be careful with corrections, just because there can be a lot of craziness that happens in between them. So, but overall, that's what I'm looking for. So again, guys, if you like the content, make sure you guys smash the likes, hit that subscribe button, comment below, and I can't wait to do the drawing and give away a free masterclass. So thanks for the time, guys, and hope to see you guys in the Discord.